Okay, this afternoon we're going to test fly a new Hawkeye model, and we're going to show you how to go about doing it. First of all, you want to turn your radio on and extend your antenna fully. This makes sure you get a good strong signal to the airplane. The next, we want to do a check on all our radio systems. So I'm going to plug the battery in, and if you just heard that beeping sound, that is your speed control getting ready to arm. Now I'm going to check my left and right turns. So I'm going to move my rudder. That's my left turn, my right turn. They both seem to be working just fine. Next, I'm going to check my camera tilt to see if I'm able to. So you see, as I've got this one set up so that when I flip my channel 5 gear switch, it's actually moving my camera. Okay, now we're going to see if the motor is going to, let's do the shutter first. And I'm going to check my shutter. You see the servo arm is moving. I'm going to turn the camera on, and we're ready to go. Check the motor, see if it's going to. Alright, all systems are ready to go, so we're now ready to fly. There's a little bit of a breeze blowing today, so we want to point the plane into the breeze. We're going to throttle up, not full throttle, but partial throttle, and then lock. Seeing there is the stall of a plane that's a little bit tail heavy. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that plane in. We're going to land it. Hawkeye camera plane, you can change your center of gravity with this adjustment screw here. So I'm going to loosen the screw. This allows me to slide the camera weight forward on the airplane. We want to make sure that my rear connector slides forward at the same time so that it forms a 90-degree with the airplane. Now I'm going to retighten the screw. You don't want to over tighten the screw or you may crush the graphite spine piece here. Okay, let's try it again. Throttle up. We're going to do testing our right and left turns. You'll notice the plane loses a little of altitude into the turn, so remember to always leave yourself some altitude to compensate for the loss of altitude in the turn. We're going to climb out a little bit and take some pictures. You'll always get your best pictures when you're in a glide, so when you get ready to shoot, best to throttle down and glide. Your altitude is controlled by the throttle, so when you want to go up, you give it throttle. Now, if you should be in a situation where your plane perhaps gets caught in a thermal, or you need to get out of the air quickly because of maybe a low-flying airplane, then what you want to do is you want to give it full rudder and give it gas. You lose that altitude quickly. Now I just got back up, fell back up there. The Hawkeye is very capable of flying in a very small area because it's low wing loading. It's able to fly very slowly. size of the prop on this. If you want a better rate of climb, you can increase the size and the pitch of your prop as long as it doesn't overburden your motor. Now, part of the little inconvenience of doing that is you'll get more power stalls with a stronger and higher pitch prop. I'm going to land now into the wind. I cut my power and guide the plane down into the wind until it settles down. And whenever you test a new Hawkeye plane, it's always best not to put your expensive camera on the plane, particularly if you're unfamiliar with the way the plane flies. So what I've done is I've carved myself a camera replica, although you can use a pepper can full of sand, whatever, that mimics the weight of the camera that's going to go on the airplane. This will allow me to pre-balance the plane before I put my camera on it. It also, if you're new to this design, will let you learn how to fly a little bit without the risk of damaging your expensive camera. The plane turns better with the power on. It will turn without the power, but a lot slower than with power. When you're first learning to fly, it's always a good idea to keep the plane more or less steered towards you. And if there's wind in particular, you want to fly upwind. So if you should happen to lose power or your battery runs out of juice, the plane will be drifting towards you and not away from you. Once you determine the proper CG of your plane with the camera that you're going to use on it, it's always a good idea to tape and put a piece of tape in front and in back of the connection. That'll keep it from slipping if it strikes the ground at any given time, and that'll keep your CG always properly adjusted. Of course, that will change if you change cameras. So when you get ready to land, set up and come into the wind, throttle back, put it into a glide. Okay, we just finished our day of flying and we're going to put the plane back in the car. Now, rather than take it all apart, I'm just going to take the wing spars out of it so that it's a little less wide going into the car. And one thing you want to be sure that you always do when taking your camera plane apart, the Hawkeye, you push on don't try to pull the connector out of the wing. That's a way to tear the wing and inadvertently punch the rod through the hull, through the sail. So you take your thumb and simply push against it until it's loose. And I might add, vice versa, that when you're putting it together, it's always a good idea to put your hand behind the sail in front of the rod, because that way if it slips, if you miss the hole, you don't accidentally push the rod through the sail itself. So again, taking it apart, push the rod with your thumb. Both sides, push, not pull. Now you can just fold your wings up, a little more compact package to carry home with you. Or you can go ahead and break the entire kite down, whichever you prefer.